Hey, friends. Hey, welcome back to another episode of Aquarius After Dark. Okay. And our book that we're going to be discussing is the first Capone book. There is so much to unpack. So, this is my second time going through the Delgados and Infernos series, right? I've also started a book club on Fable called Delgado Nights. Okay. And you can click on my link in order to join the book club. Really easy, okay? But every Sunday night on TikTok, I'm going to do a live discussion with all of the Delgado and Inferno fans, right? Because we know that that is a huge, huge community. Like, who don't love Jaquel J? Period, fool. Okay, so let's get into it because even though this is my second time reading, something stood out that I missed that first go round, okay? And I'm falling back in love with all the characters. It is so exciting. First, let's start with the characters, okay? I got everybody connected, so pay attention, okay? Because you might miss something with this character tree, okay? So, who we have first, everybody know, is Capone. Capone has a twin that is doing a 15-year bid in prison, okay, because they found some weapons in Capone's car. So, Capadonna, as the big brother of 5 minutes, because again, they're twins, decide to take the charge, okay? So, he is locked away, but he's still in all the business. You know what I'm saying? He's still leading the family from prison. Okay, that's a good man, Savannah. Won't he do it? All right. And Capadonna has a girlfriend, and her name is Kendra. We're going to talk about Kendra, aren't we? We're going to talk about Kendra. Yeah. Because Kendra is not holding him down, and he doesn't want to know what she's doing on the outside. Okay. So we have our main female character. Her name is Erin, and Erin has gone through a lot. When I say a lot, she has gone through a lot. Erin witnessed her mom and dad dying in front of her. Her dad took his life, as well as her mom's life in front of her. So she is traumatized, but she picks up the responsibility of her brother, who now is 16 years old. His name is Jaden, and Jaden is hanging out with the wrong crowd. Okay. The wrong crowd is Timmy. Timmy is the wrong crowd. Yeah. We gonna get into it, but I'm trying to connect the dots. Timmy is a friend. We're gonna use that term loosely at this point in the conversation. Uh Jaden's. He's dropped out of school. Okay. Let's go into the hot mess of the characters. Now, we're going to lead our way right on over to Kincaid. Kincaid works for Capadonna and Capone. He's second in command under Naheem. Baby, just telling this to y'all seems like a lot. But when you're reading the book, it all falls in line very well, and you will not get anybody confused. Naheem is connected to Aaron, okay? But he's also married to Capri. Oh my God, we love Capri real bad over here. Yeah. And Capri is the sister of Capadonna and Capone. I'm going to put as many pictures up as you guys can see as we're connecting everybody with our character chart here. Okay. I think I'm forgetting somebody. All right. Our boy Capone has a baby mother, and her name is Ella. Yeah. How did I forget about Ella? Because if you're in the Jaquel universe, you know that we are all the way over in Goon, and we're waiting on Goon's who right now. So I forgot all about Miss Ella. Okay. But boy, is Miss Ella begging, down on bending knees, asking Capone for another child. They're not even together. How are we doing that? Lord, how are we doing that? It reeks of desperate. Okay. Let's see. I feel like Raya or Rye. I'm going to go with Rye. Rye is Aaron's cousin, who constantly get her in the most dangerous situations you can possibly think of, okay? Erin has had enough traumatic experiences, okay, Rye? She has. She doesn't need any more. But you constantly keep putting her in those situations, you know? All right. I feel like I have handled all the characters for us, you guys. Let me just check it out here. Nope, we forgot Tasha. Tasha is a worker for Capone in one of his drug houses, and she is responsible for cooking up the drugs. Okay. She seems to be having a sexual encounter with Kincaid thus far in the book, and Capone had to put them in their place and said this is a place of business where you work, not a place to get your rocks off, basically. It's just a nice way of me saying that. Okay. My God. And Tasha is threatening to no longer work for them because of the incident. Wow. That was a lot. That was a lot. So let's just take this thing one thing at a time, people. Okay. So we're going to start at the beginning. Now that you know all the characters, okay? Because now I'm just going to talk about it. Now we're just going to roll through it. So Erin ends up walking in on her father killing her mom. And at this time, she is a teenager. Okay. And then he turns the gun on himself and he says, basically, he's sorry. Okay. She's left with picking up the pieces. And the only family that she really truly has is her younger brother. Okay. Her baby brother. And so the aunt comes to the police station and picks them up. And my first thought during this part of the book was, wow, that's a lot for someone to witness, right? And I'm thinking the aunt is coming to the rescue and she's still going to be able to live out her life while being a great big sister to Jaden. And then it fast forward, I believe, 13 years ahead. And what you see is the sacrifice and the toll that the entire experience of her witnessing her parents' murder-suicide situation have a physical effect on her. She has alopecia. Her hair is almost non-existent. She just have patches. So at this point, Erin is shaving her head and she wears wigs. The only people that know that she is suffering this, I think, is her cousin and her aunt and her brother Jaden. Okay. She is a bus driver. Our girl has a career, honey. She's a bus driver. She did not go to college. She just want to make sure that her brother has the best upbringing possible, that he makes it out. Because we will say out the hood. Okay. Let's just say that. Jaden now is 16. He is hard headed. Jaden is a wonderful basketball player, and she's trying to keep him on the straight and narrow. So they don't have a brother and sister relationship. She is the mother and the parental figure in his life, even though they live with aunts, right? She is the head bitch in charge, okay? And it's a rift in their relationship because Jaden is trying to pull away because she's too strict. He's like, you won't let me do anything that the 16-year-olds are doing. You know, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to want to hang out with my friends. I'm supposed to want to go to parties. I'm supposed to, but Erin runs a strict program. I'm not going to lie. Let's call a spade a spade. It's too much. But as the story unravels, you see why she is the way that she is. Okay. So Erin absolutely hates Timmy, okay? She hates him because he's a bad influence. He has dropped out of school. He is selling drugs. He is smoking weed. He's doing all the things. He's just a bad influence all the way around on our boy, you know? And for some reason, Jaden looks up to him. He wants to do what he's doing, you know, so that he can help his sister out because he feel like his sister is taking care of him all this time. And she works all the time and she just reminds me of like an old lady. Okay. Erin does not act her age. So one day, you know, her cousin Rye says, girl, you're boring. We need to go out. And she's like, no, I don't want to go out with you because you always in some shit, basically. And she takes her up on offer and say they're going to go out. Well, on her route, she ends up pulling over to like a corner store and she sees Timmy and she tells him, you need to stay away from my brother. I'm not playing with you." Timmy raised his hand like he gonna slap her, y'all. And I was just floored at that moment because the disrespect, because he is not a great kid. I mean, he's just not. His mama's even worse. Tasha is condoning it. Tasha's like, we gonna be the next best thing, his mom, in the drug game. So as she's yelling at him, Capone is watching from inside the store, but he's about to intervene, but Naheem shows up. And I was thinking about that whole scene. He stops him from striking Tasha, and they have a moment of, oh my God, you're out of jail, because the last time she saw Naheem, right? Naheem was in prison. He said he's going to go ahead and do a bid. Don't think about him because they used to be high school sweethearts. Okay. And we come to find out that he took her virginity. Yeah. But he learns that. But Aaron learns that Naheem is married to, at this point, she don't know who he's married to. I mean, he's like, can I take you out? We got some unfinished business. And she's like, absolutely not. No, we're not. No, yeah, maybe we can. I don't really need closure, but if you need closure, I might agree to do that. So Capone is intrigued. He is like, this woman is going to be my wife. I'm going to see her again, whatever. Jesus. Erin ends up going to this party, y'all, with her cousin. And again, the cousin is a hot mess express. She seems to leave Erin at every turn. Do you hear me? At every single turn, she runs off with a nigga and leave Erin by herself, right? Because she don't know anything about cookouts and you gotta have money, and she thought it was just like a cookout you get to go to for free. Well, she found out the hard way that that's not it. That you don't get to do that. You gotta pay. So Capone ends up paying for her food or whatever, but she don't get to eat because they start shooting. And I loved it. Okay. Erin freezes. Capone notices and like, wow, she didn't duck. She didn't hide for a second. There was a delay before her brain said, I need to find my cousin. And at that point, she started running looking for her cousin. Jesus, y'all. She then finds the cousin and she's like, you know what? I should have went with my first mind. I should have stayed in the house. I should have read a book. I shouldn't have come out with you because here we go. I almost died. And this is also why she is so strict with Jaden, because these are the experiences that they will have in their neighborhood, right? So I can kind of agree with that. But let's just move forward a little bit here. We're going to speed up the time to Capone applying pressure. Capone know how to apply the right amount of pressure. When I say this, I mean the man took it upon himself to find out where her bus route was. And everybody in the hood knows that this man is filthy rich and he doesn't need to ride the bus. Okay? Who gets on the bus with a black card and asks how you use your black card on the bus? No. So she is shocked that he is on her bus. Well, there's a guy that is on the bus and he gets on the bus every day who basically harass her. She don't pay him no attention, but Capone shuts it down. It was like, don't talk to my wife like that. And it's like, ladies, if you don't love us, okay, if we don't find a man that loves us like that instant love, we don't want it. We don't want it, okay? He rides the bus and he asks her, can he take her out? And she's like, no, I'm not dating right now. Of course he doesn't take no for an answer. He was like, I'm gonna pick you up. She's like, you don't even know where I stay. I didn't know. You also didn't let me know what your bus route was, but I figured that out. I'm so like, yes, Capone, yes. And he is true to his word. He pull up on her, tell the auntie I'm gonna get her back safely, and takes her on a nice little outing. They end up going to the fish market, learning more about each other. As much as she is resisting, her walls are coming down a little bit. And then they end up going to like a nice place where they can just sit and talk. And it must have the best views because she was so in awe about where they were. Okay, but they were still like in the car. And of course, they talk and got to know each other. And at this point, he promises me, you cannot go around saying and making plans and then you don't show up. Okay, I don't care what their reason is. And he says, yeah, I'm going to take you out on a real date. This wasn't a date. You'll know when it's a date. Oh, honey, I am intrigued. I'm like, yay, Capone. Okay. Jesus. Well, you guys, this is more of a spoiler. Capone has and is suffering from sickle cell. Yeah, he ends up having an episode for days. And when he has an episode, he goes into a shell. He don't want to be bothered with anybody. He don't want anybody to see him in that state because in my brain, he may think that is a weak part of him. Now let's talk about this baby mama. This is when we meet Ella, okay? Okay? First trap Ella. Okay. Ella comes over, opens the blinds, notice that he needs to eat. And I mean, she's trying to take care of him. And this is what pissed me off to the 10th level of pissivity is Capone's giving her hope because even though he goes around and says he's single, you left the window open for her to feel like she can come back. You know what I mean? And she wants another baby. They lost their daughter. I think she was full term. And I get that. And he helped her through the grieving process. And I feel like that's when he decided, we're just not compatible in that way and broke it off with her. However, you guys, he's still sleeping with her. Men can seem to turn off their emotions when it comes to sex. It can be just a physical thing, but with a woman, 9 times out of 10, it is both physical and emotional. And as much as I love Capone, as much as we scream, that's my, book bae, he made some errors that with her. He didn't handle her right because of I would like to say because of the convenience and the familiarity of their relationship. Him being a man of power, of money, of all these things, you can't trust a lot of people around you. But if you trust the mother of your child, then you can have that person fulfill that need until you no longer need that person anymore. Not that I am Team Ella, because y'all will be crazy if you thought I was, but I'm not. No, 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 no. I'm not Team Ella because even though it was a great line that he drew in the sand, you kept crossing it, knowing that it probably wasn't going to end up in your favor, right? And so there you have that. So during this time, Capone was having an episode. He missed the date. Okay. So let's go back over here with Aaron. Aaron is like, fuck that nigga. I finally let somebody in because even her brother Jaden is like, you ain't got no date. You don't go nowhere. You too busy in my business to have business. Period. Jaden did not lie. Clock it. Yeah, I feel that she allowed her cousin to infiltrate the system again and get in her head and say, hey, girl, I need a favor. Okay. Ra is crazy, her cousin. She is all over the place. When I say Ra is all over the place, she is trying to find love and validation in the wrong type of men. Yeah. So now Ra comes and asks, hey, girl, I want you to go to Miami with me to get my body done. I've met a basketball player. This basketball player said that he will give me the mommy makeover. Aaron like, what the fuck, bitch? You're not even a mom. There's nothing wrong with your body. Ra's like, coming from somebody who's got it, who's shaped like a fucking Coke bottle naturally. You know what I'm saying? Hey, your body, your choice. I don't, whatever. That's how I feel about it. Whatever makes you happy. As long as you're not doing it for someone else, Because you got to look good. You got to feel good in your skin. By all means, do you. And she's like, I need you to come to Miami with me. Take off. You have plenty of time. You are like an old prude. You don't use your time. You have time built up. Aaron eventually agrees to go with Ryan, but she was like, well, he's coming here. He's invited us out and he has a friend. Ladies and gentlemen, whenever somebody says that somebody has a friend, it's usually not a great thing, but let's get there and let's just get there and see, is this good or bad? Okay. So they end up going out to the club. Okay. And keep in mind that Aaron has seen Capone and was like, no, sir. No, sir. No, sir. You had your chance. You blew it. We're done. Okay. So Capone ends up at the same club as Ra and Aaron. And Capone shoots her a text message in good old Capone fashion, honey, that says, what do you want on his obituary? You know what I'm saying? That is toxic behavior that I absolutely love. Couldn't tolerate it in real life, baby, because hell no. No. And you gotta think, we are privy as the readers to information that the characters are not at this point. She has no idea as to why he stood her up. All she know is he stood up and he does not deserve a second chance, okay? We know it's because he had an episode. So she is talking to the guy that she's with at the club, and he puts his hand on her thigh. She gets another text message that says, the nigga better back up. So at this point, she knows his reputation. So she gets up and goes to the restroom. For some odd reason, there's no line at the restroom. Nobody's in the restroom. And she go in the restroom, and then somebody closes the door behind her. It is Capone. When I tell you, I was so happy it was him. This just makes for such a great book. And he is talking to her, like using all those terms, wife. She is hold on. She like, nigga, no, there's nothing between us. Yeah. And he's like, no, wife, come on. You finna go, you gonna leave with me, text your cousin. All of a sudden, as they're getting ready to leave out of the club, there is a shooting. Jesus. Every event that Ra takes Aaron to gets more and more traumatic, okay? So they decide he gets her again. As the gunshots are happening or the shootout is taking place, Aaron frees again. So he knows at this point that something has happened to her because most people run, take cover. She didn't do any of those things. He had to grab her. They get in the car. She's like, I need to call my cousin. She is frantic, okay? So she ends up speaking to Rye. Rye's safe, okay? And cause she was like, well, Capone's gonna take me home. Wrong answer, absolutely not. This man's not taking this girl home. He says, stop lying to your cousin. Taking to my house. Yeah. And when they get there, the house is immaculate, okay? He pulling up to a gated home, okay? That has CD on the gate as the gates are opening, okay? Yes, Capone. Yes. She's pissed. Well, they're at the kitchen counter, and guess what happens? The guy that she was out with on a date sends calls to check on her. She answers it in front of Capone. Wow, I knew not to do that. Whew, he takes the phone and he throws it in the sink. My, that's interesting. Yeah, she's like, she's pissed. And she does the one thing that Capone does not stand for, but he handled it with such grace and such class. She gets ready she slaps him. He takes her arm, gently pulls it behind her back, and pushes her against the wall, and they share a passionate kiss. My God. She is so turned on, it's ridiculous at this point, but she still cannot let her wall down at this point. So he tells her to go. Number one, don't ever try it again because I'm crazy, which he is. And then tells her to go to the guest bedroom. Yeah. When she wakes up in the morning, honey, and go downstairs. This man is in the kitchen cooking. His sister, who is married to Naheem, the guy that took her virginity in high school. Yeah, he's downstairs. That's interesting. It's very interesting. So it's a little awkward. And at that moment, Capone is very well aware that there was more than just them neighborhood friends or they grew up together. Okay, it's on her face. Okay. But this is where we get introduced to Capri for the first time. And Capri is the sweetest. Man, how she grew as the series continues on. Because at this point, this is a different, meek, mild Capri. This ain't Big Mama. This not Big Mama, y'all. She's growing into that. And I love the honesty that she had. She's like, me and Naheem talk. We're best of friends. I know I don't want this to be awkward because my brother does not bring anybody home. So if he brought you here, he's serious about you. I'm going to see you again. I don't want there to be any tension between us. I know that there was something more between you and my now husband, Naheem, and it's cool. You know what I'm saying? That was the past. We are the present. Play clean. That was nice. That was really nice. That was really big of Capri. I also want to circle back for a hot second, okay? I know this is crazy. I feel like I'm all over the place. We'll figure this out. But I want to circle back to a moment that, because I've read all the way up to Goon, that I'm going to make a statement. I'm not going to spoil the rest of the books, but I expected more of Capone. When Capone was in the store and he noticed Naheem licking his lips, being flirtatious with Aaron. My first thought was knowing who they are. I know you guys, if this is your first book, this first one you're reading, you don't have that in the back of your mind like I do. They are so overprotective and so loving towards the women that are in their lives that they don't let nobody play in their face. They don't care who you are. But I feel like Capone didn't do enough, didn't say enough based upon Naheem's reaction when he first saw Aaron. Yeah, he did do the thing where we know he's saying things like, "Oh, if he messed up with my sister, then X, Y, Z." I feel like based on who the Delgados are, that should have been checked immediately and nipped in the bud, right? And it didn't get addressed. Okay. So now I'm going to go back to where we were. I had to say that because I feel like that was a missed moment. And as you go through the series, that was always a thing for me, especially once you get to Capri's book. I didn't feel like Capri was supported enough. I don't feel like the way that they are with their women. Yes, they are crazy about their sister with outsiders, but that insider to me felt like that brotherhood of the person that worked for you. You let him slide and he got a pass. And that's what I mean by that. You could agree, you could disagree. That's my feeling, my perspective, and how I feel when I read that part. Guys, so let's just move on a little bit. So, in the story, and as the story progresses, okay, things are starting to happen a lot. So, we end up, let's see. Okay. So, I want to talk about how smart I feel like Capone was. I love that Capone saw an opportunity and he took it, that he was not okay with just being a corner boy. He was like, nope, I want to go to the top. I want to be able to retire my mom and dad, which he did. I loved how Trilla put him on. Okay. Triller is going to be our ops. I just want y'all to know that. Spoiler alert. Okay. Trilla is the one that started him and Capone off in the drug game. But Trilla wasn't smart. He didn't have the knowledge to take it to the next level. And I feel like, and Capone did an amazing job with that. Capone said, no, that middle piece where moving the drugs from one place to the next, Capone saw an opportunity. He said, I'm going to start a legit trucking company that I own, and I'm going to use that as the transport for the drugs in and out. Okay. That was genius because he saw how much money Trilla was losing. Also, he did not use Trilla's connects. You know what I'm saying? So I don't get the hate, but I get the hate. You know what I'm saying? Because from Trilla's perspective, you put him on, and you get locked up and get hemmed up. He wasn't nowhere. Capone wasn't nowhere to be found. But from Capone's perspective, my brother got locked up. You weren't nowhere around. You know what I'm saying? Capone did not use your connect, and he has superseded you in the drug game. Okay, he is multi-millionaire. Okay, the money is long. Okay. Yeah. I love that real bad. Mom and daddy don't work no more. That's a good man, Savannah. But he's not making all the right choices. And you can't make all the right choices if you're in Jaquel J's universe, okay? So I would say that is the first half of the book. I'm going to come back and we're going to talk about what is happening in the second half of Capone 1 by Jaquel J. Listen, people, I'm going to come back on here. We're going to continue to dissect all the things, okay? Because I am in love with this series and I want you to be in love with this series. And I want to continue to put everybody on. I want everybody to experience the Delgados, the Infernos, the Castellis, Goon. Like, read it, buy it, enjoy it. Okay. So, but I feel like that's enough for tonight. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.